Have you ever just look at something and just feel that I really need to close that window? Or have you ever been in a car and somehow a mosquito or a fly is buzzing around, and then you open the window and you're thinking, all right, the window's open, go through it. And for the life of you, they never do. Or they do, they happen to come right back in before you get a chance to close it. The fly is the Buffalo Bills. The window is open, but for whatever reason, you go through and you come right back. Or it's wide open and you miss it. Or it's wide open and you don't take it. Hey everybody, I'm Cortez and I'm a critic, and welcome back. We're continuing our 2026 NFL Draft recap. We are currently in the AFC East, and we're talking about the Buffalo Bills and their draft class. Because the question I've been saying is the window getting closer? Is it closing? Closing the window is the Bills. Of what are we doing? And they made some changes, coaching changes, even though they kind of promoted from within, so we'll see how that goes. But the window's closing, guys. The Patriots, a team that you thought 20, 30 years will finally get back, was in the Super Bowl again. Now, for the Dolphins and the Jets, well, maybe you have some time. But Mahomes and the Chiefs didn't make the Super Bowl, didn't make the playoffs. Neither did the Ravens. I can't help but feel like they might be there. The Bengals, as long as, Joe Burrow stays healthy, they'll still be there. And then we'll see what Denver does. They return to promise again. So, Buffalo, your chance of going to Super Bowl was close. And no, I'm not going to blame the referees. You guys should never have ran the ball and fumbled the ball before halftime. Just saying. The window's closing. And I felt like the two biggest things for me watching you, because you guys get all the primetime slots, the receiving corps seems mediocre. Josh Allen has to be the hero 90% of the time. And the Buffalo Bills defense, mainly the pass rush, has not been solved. Von Miller, Joey Bosa, it doesn't seem to have solved anything. And I'm telling you right now, Bills fans and the Bills players, that no one listens to me, but maybe you do. Guys, come on. The window is closing. And it's honestly, this is life. Eventually, players will get older. And the Bills should have been a team that should have been kind of like the Chiefs. Always there, every. It should have been the Dallas and the San Francisco 49ers of the AFC. Chiefs and Bills every year. Chiefs and Bills every year. But it's not. But hopefully the players you got here could maybe make us feel happier or obliviously optimistic. So, we all know that you gave up a pick, but you got DJ Moore, which I think is a great acquisition. Just like the Patriots, you got a veteran, developed player to come into it. So I feel like DJ Moore is going to hopefully help address the wide receiver problem. Next, defense. So, like I said, you gave up, and now you got a second, and your first pick is in the second round. So, with the 35th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected T.J. Parker, edge, Clemson. There was a lot of edge players because the Buccaneers needed one, so of course, a lot of Bucs talked about, but we got Ruben Bain, so we all stopped talking about that. But there was a lot of potential edge rushers all over, from Texas A&M to Clemson, and not to criticize TJ, but was TJ the best available, or was he the best to fit your scheme? We have seen players get drafted because the team have a need, but the player's playing style doesn't match the scheme. Sometimes you can get a defensive end that's very strong with a 4-3, and you try to force a 3-4, and they don't develop well. But you really needed that pass rusher. So you hoped and prayed that they would develop. And maybe they did, but not to the full strength that they could have been if their running war scheme fit their style. Running back plays better with a pro style offense than a spread offense. It happens to everybody. Sometimes the desire need of that position overwhelms, does the player fit our scheme? TJ Parker, does he fit the Bills scheme? They currently have TJ Parker behind Bradley Chubb, which I think is a smart decision. Getting Bradley. I'm hoping that Bradley still has a few good games left in the tank to make his acquisition valuable. Plus, it'll be a good development for TJ to learn under. And if Bradley and TJ develop a rotation scheme, maybe this year could be a good developing year for these two players in the Bills organization. Because looking at the rest of the Bills, remember, they got Joey and Vaughn granted toward the later of their career, but they were hoping they would have at least accumulated 8 to 10 sacks or at least help increase the pressure percentage higher. And it just felt like it never really worked. And it was still a case of can the Bills offense, led by Josh Allen and last year mainly by Cook, lead the Bills to victory while the defense just does enough to get us the win? So my question is, does TJ fit your scheme or TJ was a need? You needed an edge rusher, someone young, someone to develop more than just 2 or 3 seasons. So I'm hoping that TJ Parker fits the Bills scheme, not for the need of an edge. Then we go still in the second round with the 62nd overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Buffalo Bills selected Davison Ambiguousum, in Igbignusum, son, corner, Ohio State. I always felt like front seven helps the secondary. So if the front seven doesn't work, it kind of really exposes the secondary weaknesses. But sometimes I notice is that you cannot cover forever, even if you're the greatest of all time, or you're one of the top tier defensive backs. You can't cover forever if the pass rush doesn't do squat. So, looking at Davison going in for, he is 11th ranked in position, 74th grade, basically 90th best overall position. The Bills needed a corner, even though it was like one of their last acquisition. I kind of feel like since they addressed TJ, the edge, then they went directly to the defense. Because I really feel like for the Bills' sake, the defense to me was the bigger problem, especially after the acquisition of the offseason acquisitions they have for the offense. So to me, it was like, let's load up on our defense, on our secondary, and our front seven. And TJ and Davison were the two categories. They currently have Davison as the backup to Maxwell Harrison on the right corner. And the corner. Still sick, guys. And CJ Gardner Johnson. Oh, he's with the Bills. I thought he was gone, but apparently he's back. All right. I mean, he's a character. He's a character. So, good luck to you, Buffalo, for that guy. So, to me, I think with TJ and Davison, it's fresh blood in the right positions, and you're hoping they fit your scheme and develop for moving forward. So, to me, it's a good pickup, even though it kind of screams it's for future, not as much for now. Then to the fourth round, with the 102nd overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Judy Bowery, offensive tackle, Boston College. I thought, unless they're going to move him to guard, I thought they were going to go interior offensive lineman. Let me take a look here. No, they have him on the left tackle side. I thought maybe they're, because I thought they needed interior offensive line help. But it looks like they currently have Bowery as the left tackle, third string behind Deion Dawkins and Tylen Grable. Are they going to move him? Let me take a look at his evaluations. He played left tackle in college. He's top 15th in his position. That's something there. He needs to develop. He needs to develop better upper body strength. Yeah, nothing really here that says anything about him potentially moving forward. But I really thought the Bills were going to get a guard. That's one of the needs they needed too. I mean, not going to hate it. It's always good to get out good solid offensive tackles, even not right away, but for the future to develop for your quarterback's protections and security. So I don't hate the pick. I just thought maybe they'll move him to a guard, but it says here they're not going to move him to a guard or interior wise. So okay, very well. And then we go to the fourth round with the 125th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Buffalo Bills selected Skylar Bell, wide receiver, UConn. Okay. The wide receiver pool for the Bills, I still feel like it's solid. Coleman has maybe been a little bit of a disappointment for a high end pick who was probably projected to be the number one guy, but never did it. So that's why you get players. Plus, you got a lot of veterans that happen to come from other teams coming in, and they currently have Skylar Bell with the number 2. So if he develops well, he'll get involved right away. He's 5'11", 192. I can't help but feel like he's meant to be kind of like scat back, slot receiver that catches in space, breaks a few ankles, and takes to the house. Are they going to move him to returner? Nope, I don't see him as returner. But yeah, so another viable asset, wide receiver, versatility in the slot and outside. I feel like this is just another quick dump wide receiver, screen probably development kind of guy. So we'll see. I feel like they're trying to develop Josh Allen with more than just 6+ wide receiver with big frames and lanky arms. So maybe Skylar Bell is the changeup. Then the next pick, literally 126. With the 126th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Caleb Elarms or linebacker, TCU. All right, 6'2", 234. Attributes, second-year honors. Is he going to be... Where they're going to have you? They have you behind Dorian Williams in the left inside linebacker, and they run a 3-4. So if he develops well, he probably gets some situational playing time. But I wonder they picking him up starting at career, bringing some experience in line off the ball, exhibit good speed, quickness, range, sideline to sideline, good speed, coverage. That's what I thought. In coverage, has the athleticism to play the tight end coverage in the backs. That's what I thought. So some linebackers play better in coverage, some play better against the run. Now, there's some that can do great in both. Not saying there's not. I'm just saying that for most normal people, sometimes we have 1% better at one than the other. When I was in college and they tried me out at linebacker, spoilers, it didn't work out. It put me back on offense. My strength, if any, was run stopping. They put me in the middle. It was a 3-4 defense, and my greatest strength was reading the offensive lineman's pulling guard and to basically take down the running backs. When it came to tight end, most of the tight ends were 6'5", and my 5'10" self could not even remotely compete with that upness. So then moving back to offense because at least I can catch, and they kind of wanted that more than me poorly covering or tackling. So, but that was my brief stint of playing linebacker in college. Was yay! I suck at it. Go back to offense. Yay! I think it was a combination of they wanted to see what I can do. They needed linebackers, and they basically said to me, well, he wants to play, so you're going to play defense if you want to play. I didn't play anything in offense. No. I made the team in the spring. And then the recruits took my spot, and then that was that. But, so I feel like this is probably one of the big reasons is his ability to cover tight ends and running backs. And in the AFC East, with the Patriots, Dolphins, and Jets, probably made for the best. Then we go to the 5th round with the 167th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft. The Buffalo Bills selected Jalen Kilgore, safety, South Carolina. I thought they would focus more on defense, front 7. This is another defensive back. Now, he is ranked 6th in his position. Top 7 overall. My wondering is it because of his injuries? He has trouble with missed tackles and needs to fix angles in pursuit. versus the pass is much more productive in man cover than he is in zone. So I see a lot of raw potential. But if he's ranked top 10 in his position, why is he picked so low or so late? And I don't see any indication of an injury, unless it's not written here in his evaluation. But my guess is that he has the intangible, but he still needs some polishing. He still needs some sharpening, if you will, for a dull knife. And maybe the Bill says, well, we don't need him, but the upside is so great. And the best thing about it is his athleticism. We can put him on special teams, and then we can develop him later. So this could be a player that they're like, we don't need to rush him, we develop him. And if he does show up in year 2 or 3, we have an investment. Plus, let's be real, it's cheaper if they develop well in their rookie contracts. And then we go, still in the 5th round, there's a lot of picks. And a lot of them are like bunched up. With the 181st overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Zane Durant, defensive tackle, Penn State. Durant is 6'1", 290, kind of small. Are they moving him to the defensive end? Yep, that's what I thought. They currently have him behind Ed Oliver, good mentor to learn from, as the right defensive end for the 3-4 defense. So that's where they're going to put him. And before I criticize, Ed Oliver is also 6'1". I just felt like when it says defensive tackle, you think of nose tackle, but those guys are usually a lot heavier and a lot bigger to, take on the middle. So if he's not that, then more than likely he'd be put as a defensive end on 3-4 defense, which is like a glorified, more athletic defensive tackle. So I see they have Zane Durant as that position, moving him there, which, let's be real, Ed Oliver is 28 years old. Not saying he's a scrub, not saying that he's on his deathbed of his career. I'm just saying when players get close to that 30, you kind of want to at least, if nothing else, get some rotation there to increase his longevity. As great as Ed Oliver is, we all get tired in games sometimes. And maybe, if you have someone to develop, Ed Oliver's absence does not become a complete negativity or, a detriment to the defense. So maybe this is development for the rotation to keep Ed Oliver with the Bills longer. Then to the 7th round, which they got 3 picks. Like I said, the Bills went a lot. With the 220th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Toriano Pride Jr., cornerback, Mizzou. All right, another corner. And they currently have him behind Christian Benford, which I think Christian Benford has been... he's only 25 years old, but I feel like Benford has played above his 6th round stat. He's a 6th round pick, and I think he is what I think the Bills are hoping for with some of these players. A 6th round pick that the Bills took in, drafted, developed, and now he's a starter. And I think that Benford has proven his worth very well for the Bills faithful. He may not be the top tier corner in his conference, but for the Bills, he is the perfect corner and he plays the job well. And for me, I feel like that is what he's meant to be. So Benford's only 25, and then they got this rookie behind him. So I don't know. I feel like Benford, unless there's a situation where Benford could be in a contract year where they're wondering, do we pay him or not? I don't think Benford's going to be asking for bank-breaking money, but like I said, he's 25, so he's roughly in that gap of time for a next second contract for a rookie. So we'll see what Pride Jr. can do, but Benford is a perfect example of, I was a 6th round pick and I'm a starter now, and I've been contributing since I've been the starter. So I feel like that's probably what they're looking into. And probably one of the easiest picks in the 7th round, with a 239th overall pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Tommy Domain Jr., punter, Florida. Now, in case some of you have not watched all the video and just watched your favorite team, hello. One thing I would say to everyone out there when they watch this, if a team uses one of their draft picks on a kicker, punter, or long snapper, I cannot help but feel that person is meant to be the starter at that position, because why would you draft a player and then bring another player in? Yes, for competition, but why would you sacrifice the draft pick for a position that only needs one? God forbid an injury, or God forbid he did so bad. Trust me, as a Buccaneers fan, we had kickers that did so bad, and we wasted good picks on them. That maybe, just maybe, we can safely say that Tommy is the Bills' starting punter. I just don't see why the Bills will draft him and then not give him the starting job. And we all know they will not use two punters on the system. They will get players that can kick, whether it's the fourth string wide receiver, second string running back, or the quarterback, whatever, to be the punter. Then use another draft spot, a slot on the 53-man roster for another punter. And more than likely, the kicker will be the punting, if that, God forbid, that happens. So to me, Tommy is your starting punter, because why would you waste a pick on now? Then the last pick in the 7th round, with the 241st pick in the 2026 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills selected Arma, Arm, Armaji, Arm, Armaj Reed Adams, offensive guard, Texas A&M. I butchered that young man's name. I am very sorry. He could probably bench press me if I insulted him. So, you end with an interior offensive lineman, probably what I thought you guys would address earlier, but you did. And you currently have him in the right guard position behind Torrance and Austin, who are currently your backup and starting right guard. So development, so intangibles, raw potential, you name it, offensive lineman. He's 6'6", 314. He's top 15 in his position. That has to mean for something. So, yes, he transferred from Kansas and finished his time at Texas A&M. So to me, he's probably more than likely a starting guard in the future. But right now, just development, train him, learn. But he's 13th in his position. I don't care when you're drafted. If you're top 10 or even top 15 in your position, that to me has to mean something. Unless the draft pool is very small for guards, and then I'm kind of worried making it up bigger than it is. And that's the Bills. Like I said, a team that was so close, feel like they had so much, I still feel unsure. The player I'm most excited about, TJ Parker. For the same reason I said in the very beginning of the video. Was he the need, and does the need fit your scheme? Sometimes you hope for the best. And sometimes I wonder, the Bills needed a rusher. And was TJ kind of like a Bo Nix situation when the Denver Broncos got him? Was he the last good donut in the box? Or are you going to pick him up and like what Sean Payton did with Bo Nix, saying, I wanted him from the very beginning? A lie, a truth, a little in between, fine. But the big thing for TJ is that the Bills needed his position. So TJ already has the pressure or the support, depends how you want to spin it, that he is necessary and he is demanded upon. So TJ, the floor is yours, man. Make it happen. Grade I give the Bills. As long as I got Josh Allen and James Cook, I can't help but feel like they're always contenders. And this draft class is filled with a lot of maybes and what if. And not a negative way. A lot of like, maybe Skylar Bell becomes the player I think he is. The quick short back wide receiver that catches screens. Maybe Caleb, the linebacker at TCU, is the guy that shuts down the tight ends in the middle of the field and becomes that, linebacker with an aerial defense. Maybe Zane Durant gets a good rotation with Ed Oliver and works on it. They're still contenders, even though this draft class feels very much like, what are you guys really going to do? Besides TJ, most of you feel like learn, develop. If you get called on, execute. But there's no pressure for you to succeed. We are a team that's always there every single year. Barring an injury, we will be there again. So just learn, take opportunities, don't hinder us, but we'll also not force you to save us. And that is the Buffalo Bills. Halfway down, we're down to two more teams. We're going to go to Sunny Beach, Florida, to Miami. Talk about the Dolphins, who literally need a socket wrench and a bag of tools and nails because they did a full-blown rebuild. And honestly, I think they did a very good renovation. But that's for the Dolphins. So until next time, I'm Cortez, and I'm a critic. Thank you so very much for watching.